So, I've been dying a lot. But I feel like all the unnecessary death hasn't gone completely to waste. I'm getting more and more comfortable with flight in War Thunder. Comfortable to the point where I feel I've had some decent games in my early goings in the American and the British tech trees. I've unlocked a plane in each tech tree, and we're just gonna, I guess, cover that early goings in this week's episode of Weekly War Thunder. So here I'm in the one of the reserve aircraft for the Americans. I don't know its name off the top of my head, and that's another reason why I didn't really get very involved in the flight aspect of War Thunder, is because I really don't know a whole lot about aviation, about air forces, and about air combat tactics. Really, I'm pretty much useless in the sky, as you're about to see. But I'm in this plane in particular because I just unlocked some bombs on it, and I wanted to give it a shot and see how fun it would be. So I've picked out a couple targets here. I'm just looking to see where the enemy planes are at. Going into a dive. There looks like there's a group of artillery down there. There's blinking red icons. I'm just going to fly straight over it, drop my first bomb. Get a little bit closer to the ground because I'm going to try a different bombing technique for this second group. I'm just going to come in low, drop it fast, and alright, looks like I damaged one, destroyed another. Dropping my second bomb, and looks like I destroyed three. And so, damn, yeah, nice little bombing run there. That was pretty effective. So, alright, now that my bombs are gone, I'm a little bit more nimble, so I'm just going to swoop around here, take out a couple more ground targets because this is a ground strike map. One of the ways to win is to either eliminate all the enemy pilots or take out enough of these ground defenses, artillery, AA positions, armored cars, and that's exactly what I'm doing here. Taking out a couple of these, getting in real low there. Taking out 5 positions now in total, celebrating with a little barrel roll there. See all the carnage that I've inflicted on that position back there, all the burning positions. So now that that's done, time to pick a target. I want to test my air-to-air capabilities a little bit. I'm goddamn horrible in the air, so I'm coming in from a tour dive, building some speed, trying to get up on the tail of this guy, but a little bit too much speed. Can't quite get into a good firing position, so I got out of there quickly before I rammed him. Some tracer fire coming in. Looks like I got a bogey on my 6 now. And this is where I need all the help in the world, the evasion. And I'm not sure what the strengths are with each individual aircraft. I don't know which ones can do what, and which ones excel at what type of maneuvers and such like that. So I'm just trying to make myself as difficult of a target as I can going into a climb here, but I've just lost my left wing, trying to do a barrel roll in there. My left wing now completely sheared off. So fun little first outing there with my bombs. So all that hard work grinding through the original American reserve aircraft finally paid off. I unlocked my first real plane in the game, the PBY-5 Catalina. Its outline should be iconic if you're familiar at all with World War II history. It was a recon bomber patrol craft. It was I'm not sure the word for it, but it can land on the water. As you can see, the underside of the plane is sloped, and it has those little buoys on the end of its wings. So it was a very universal aircraft. Britain actually bought a bunch of them for use once the World War II really kicked off. So yeah, this one in particular I outfitted, you can see there, with some Halloween graphics, since it is Halloween. It's the day after Halloween, the day I'm recording this. And also on the side there is a graphic that says Peanuts. I'm not sure what its reference is here in the game, but I know that during World War II, my grandfather served in the Pacific War. He was in the Navy. I believe he was on a destroyer, he said, and I do remember him telling us stories of firing the AA guns against the Japanese as they were doing kamikaze attacks on whatever ship he was on. Unfortunately, there's not very many people left alive to tell me if whether or not his stories were true or not, but nevertheless, I decided to pay homage to my pap and put a little sign on there that says Peanuts to pay tribute to him. So, really happy that I unlocked this Catalina, and I was just pretty much my first experience in a bomber, and we'll go ahead and take a look at some gameplay footage here and see how well it did. So my first flight out in the Catalina proved to be very, very boring. I didn't quite factor in when I started my recording was flying a bomber is actually really, really uneventful. So pretty much you're just flying in a straight line to your targets, dropping your bombs, and then, you know, just kind of hanging out for the remainder of the battle. So we're going to skip forward here. You can see all the nice little beautiful terrain down there and the fighters engaging the enemy. We're going to go ahead and skip forward to when the action picks up. So okay, I'm in bomb camera mode here when I start to notice that my machine gunners are opening up. At this point I realize, oh my god, I have enemy fighters swarming all around me. Let's see how well this AI controlled gunners do as I line up my targets here. And they do a pretty good job holding off the enemy and scoring a decent amount of hits. At this point I was trying to shoot at the enemy there, but I couldn't figure out how in the world, or even if I was able to shoot from the rear, I'm not sure. But here I am trying in bomb camera mode, I'm in first person mode trying to drop some bombs, and said screw it, just went back into this targeting reticule, trying to line up on these enemy positions here as best I can, and figured it's just easier dropping them like that. Got scored some hits though with those bombs, or that could have been my gunners, who knows. It's possible to say. There's no way I can follow the battle chat down there and fly this plane at the same time. So now I dropped some bombs. I have already passed the target. I have to get myself repositioned here and do as much damage as I can to the enemy during this whole event right here. Taking cover in some clouds, circle around, come at those enemy ground targets from a different angle, and hopefully score some kills with this bomber here. Very slow, very cumbersome. You say my flying speed is too low. I need to increase my throttle. I mean, I'm going 200 some miles an hour. I guess that might be too slow for this vehicle. Again, I don't. When it comes to aircraft, I really don't know jack shit. So this is a one big learning process for me. Banking the Catalina around now, trying to come up on these targets. I feel like I'm just a big sitting duck up here. I need to make something happen before the enemy swarms me yet again. So lining up this crosshair on this nice cluster down here. One of my tail gunners is opening up. I'm taking some shots, dropping bombs. 4 more bombs. I believe those are 100-pound bombs each, and I carry 16 of them to start with. So trying to get some camera focused. You can see down there between my wing and my rudders back there, some of my bombs are now landing. Scored 2 hits out of that. But that's bombing for you during World War II. Not exactly your precision art here. So my gunner's still opening up. I got a guy coming up on my 6 here, shredding my wing, trying to bank to the right here a little bit, present myself to be a little bit harder of a target. Taking hits, my gunners are doing all they can. This guy's closing in fast, and I think he's gonna ram. That's you really run into that shit a lot more often than you should in War Thunder. The other plane that I unlocked is this, the Gladiator Mark II. It was built in 1939 towards the opening stages of World War II. It was already considered an outdated plane during its manufacture. Biplane design was pretty much a thing of the past, but they went ahead and built it anyways because it was feared that Britain would not develop a aviation program fast enough to meet the needs of war. So this plane went into battle, and it served with distinction during the Norwegian campaigns and the defense of Malta. So, and of course I have it with peanuts there on the side as a salute to my grandfather. So let's go ahead and take a look at some gameplay on this thing. And one of the very first things that I noticed about the Gladiator is that it is slow. Noticeably slimmer than the Nimrod and the Bulldog that I think was the Bulldog that I was flying before this thing. So it is a little bit more maneuverable. It feels like it packs a little bit greater of a punch than the reserve planes, but nevertheless, this thing feels like a flying brick. So I'm just trying to gain some speed. Very, very steep dive, pretty much going straight at the ground here. Trying to gain a ton of speed. I want to swoop down in behind this guy, but he's turning tight on somebody. So I break off from him, go over here to this F2A1, trying to get some shots here on the side. Unsuccessfully though, and like I said, air combat is still very, very hard for me. It's hard for me actually to maintain aiming. I think scoring a hit on that Buffalo up there, but I got to break off. You can't chase for too long in this thing. It's just too slow of an aircraft. It doesn't seem like it wants to maintain that speed that it builds up during the dive. Coming in now on this CR-42. I have no idea what the hell any of these planes are. Scoring some hits there on him, but again, just can't score another hit. That's cool. Can't seem to maintain target lock on him, and again, that craft just too fast for the Gladiator. So I decided to break off the chase, gain some altitude here, and come back down in a dive and see what we can see. But overall, I do like the plane. It's a very pretty model. This whole game in itself is just gorgeous. Got some ground targets down here. Figured before the game ends, I might as well at least do what I can in this thing, put some points on the board. I am getting pretty good at taking out ground targets, if I do say so myself. Taking out an armored car and another precision air. We catch this I-15 on our way back up. Should have continued climbing, but scoring a hit on him. But I'm taking fire there. My my right wing's taking damage from anti-aircraft positions on the ground or enemy fighters. I'm not sure what. Going into a barrel roll, trying to shake whatever's on me here, coming down, and then it's at this point that I realize at some point there I took a shot to my engine and I have no power, so I gotta put this bird on the ground. Very anticlimactic ending for my Gladiator's first flight, but hey, I successfully touched down in this field. You can see all the battle damage that I suffered there on the wing before I took a hit to my engine. No idea where that came from. I think that might have been ground fire. Here I got an enemy fighter coming in behind me. I gotta get out of this thing. This guy trying to pick up a cheap kill, but I managed to crash the plane and jump out before he picked up a kill. So, alright, on to something I'm a little bit more better at. If you remember this little bastard, this is the, well, you try and pronounce it, Aufklungpanzer 38T. It's the recon variant of the Panzer 38T, and with the nice little grenade cage up top. I love that. But if you remember this one from, excuse me. If you remember this one from the I think it was the first or second World of Tanks video that I put out, I was unable to find good games in it. So hopefully that'll change. I'm gonna jump in this thing right now, and hopefully I'll be able to put something together. So one of the strengths behind this tank is the fact that it's kind of fast, and the gun is deceiving. A lot of people see this thing and kind of think twice, or don't think twice about stopping middle of the open to engage it, and it's kind of a small target, and that little 20mm cannon up there can cause some hurt if you give it the opportunity to. I'm firing the top tier, or the top ammunition, whatever that you can get for it. It's armor-piercing ammunition. I believe it penetrates something like 33mm or 35mm of armor at 10 meters or less. So it's a pretty decent gun, good ammunition. I'm also firing incendiary, can't say that word, or ammo as well. Engaging this AI tank up there on the ridge, already taking out the loader and the gunner. That tank's pretty much done, but I want the credit for killing it. And man, this October weather's killing me. My throat's all already. Firing up another salvo scope, scoring more hits. Doing damage to the engine now, the track and the suspension. If I can get that engine to catch on fire, That'll be ideal. Loading the incendiaries now. Got a bead on them. So to go in the single shot mode here until I pretty much... There we go. Incendiary ammo doing its trick, igniting that fuel tank, and boom, we got ourselves a kill. And up there on that little ledge, looks like that was a player or someone there. I managed to score an assist. About to engage that tank over there, but somebody dealt with him before I was able to get shots on him. So I got me and this little AI T-26 over here that's holding down this region. I think maybe I can trust this guy. Hold this area down while I go down south to see what's going on. Just want to that area. Head out down there. Looks okay. So let's head on south here. Looks like we got a buddy and a KV-1 coming down with us. So at least the enemy will have something big to shoot at. Hopefully distract them from me. First. After you, my friend. Got a Stug down there. I only have 2 rounds in the chamber, though. I should have reloaded before I proceeded off. Loading the armor piercing now. Maybe I can get a shot off on this Stug before he disappears behind that rock, but unfortunately it looks like it just bounces right off. It's a damn shame. Gonna call in artillery, though, to flush him out. Do not want him hanging out back there. Artillery coming in on top of that KV-1 down there. Air support coming in as well. Let's see if I can get shots off on him. Missed. That Stug down there is engaging me now, damaging my cannon breech. Damaging his cannon barrel, so it's damage to itself. The very fact that I survived the shot from that Stug is testament to how this little tank can hold its own when it has to. So now I'm in a very dangerous game. This is not the type of situation you want to be in a Panzer 38T with any variant. It out with tanks that far outclass you. I got artillery coming in now on me. It looks like I'm able to get out of here in time. But nevertheless, I have to press the attack. If I can just rush forward across here, maybe I can get out of here in time. We got the enemy around the... Oh, damn, but too late. Another artillery barrage coming in from someone. On Savior. Knocking my invisible tank out there with a nice artillery barrage. So okay, the final tank in today's video is another one of my recent favorites here. This is the Soviet Su-76M, and for reasons much like the T-34, it's one of my more favorite tanks to play in a game. It's a very versatile tank destroyer, and it has a pretty storied history to it. It was second in production only to the T-34 in World War II. So its big brother and the Su-76 rounding out the top 2 spots of the most produced tank during World War II. The reasons that it was produced so widely was it was very easy to manufacture. What they did was they took the old obsolete T-70 Soviet light tank, elongated the chassis by adding another road wheel, which allowed them to mount the cannon and the open-top crew compartment on the back of it. Here I am engaging, looks like a Panzer IV AI, taking out the loader and the gunner. The gun on this thing, the ZIS-3, very versatile gun. It can fire all sorts of different ammunition types. It's a very flexible vehicle. It can fire armor piercing, hollow charge, high explosive, fragmentation, shrapnel, incendiary rounds. It's an excellent multi-purpose light armored vehicle. They use them as tank destroyers, infantry support guns, light assault guns, self-propelled artillery, and the design of the chassis actually later went on to become the base for most of the Soviet anti-aircraft vehicles. So it was considered to be the equal to many other tanks in its class during its heyday in World War II. And here I'm taking up a very good position here, trying to keep most of my hull down to where almost the only part of the tank you can see is that gun. But I'm just having difficulty getting the right angle of depression on the tank. I don't want to make my front plate completely flat because they'll be able to penetrate that easily and take out my driver. So throughout the course of the war, they built 13,942 of those Su-76Ms between 3 different factories. Had a crew of 4, as you can see. Driver, loader, gunner, commander. It was an open-topped, open rear, and semi-open side of the tank, which had its advantages and disadvantages. It was extremely useful during urban environments in direct support of infantry. The infantry could easily communicate with the crew of the tank because it was pretty much almost entirely open. Only the driver is completely enclosed. The downside is, you know, the tank is pretty much completely open, and the Su-76 went on to pretty much replace most Soviet light tanks. So having an open-topped vehicle in urban environments, you can imagine, made it extremely vulnerable to small arms fire, hand grenades, cocktails, you know, large rocks, anything that the enemy can get their hands on. Sighting up now on a T-28. This is a very slow-paced battle here. I decided to head over here and defend C, and not bother to try and branch out much from over here. I elected to be the silent hunter and just kind of hang out and wait for opportunity to present itself. But above all else, I did not want to let C fall. So I'm going to try and do some side scraping with the wrong side of the tank here on the CIS up there. Fortunately, just the angle's all wrong. Got some air support coming in now, engaging me. Taking a lot of hits so far during this battle, but this Su-76, man, it's staying strong. Trying to get the right angle on the ZIS, or that's the T-28 now, hitting the tank pretty much smack dab in the front, and I got an assist. But as you saw there in that little kill cam up in the top corner, damaging almost the entire crew with that armor penetrating round. So yeah, this tank was very effective against most tanks that the Germans had to offer around the time of its introduction. It was very effective against any medium tank or light tank it came up against. It can also knock out Panthers with a side shot. But however, once the Germans started bringing Tigers into the mix, that proved to be a little bit too tall of an order for the Su-76 to handle. So they developed some APCR rounds, composite rigid armor penetrating rounds, and that gave the Su-76 a better chance against some more of the heavily armored German tanks that were being introduced to the Eastern Front. And the tank, this guy poking over here to the side there, trying to get a shot on him. Not too many targets over here. Nailing this guy's suspension. The driver and machine gunner have been taken out. He's pretty much stuck there on that ledge until he gets that mechanism up and working again. But yeah, with the low profile, low noise signature, it had very good mobility, which is why all factors that led to it replacing light tanks. This tank was well suited for the role of ambushing, sudden flanks, rear strikes, close combat, things of that nature. As a matter of fact, taken directly from Wikipedia, during the Belarus campaign in 1944, it was useful for organizing sneak attacks. What they did was they had them deploy through swamps, bypassing the heavy German defenses, which was raised up higher on some firmer, more solid ground where their vehicles could not pass. Down in the swamps, the Su-76 came out of with infantry support, and they pretty much caught the Germans by surprise. They effectively destroyed enemy strong points and allowed the Soviets to continue advance. So it looks like the enemy is trying to poke around this corner down here. My spider sense went off and told me to start to look down that way. I was very curious. What in the world? Somebody pulling a kamikaze there. So, okay, whatever was over there is probably dead now, so we can concentrate back up on this hill. Oh, wait, nope. We got some enemies pulling out now. T-28, that ZIS needs to go. Knocking out his gunner, and switched over to the T-28 now. Ooh, give me that side armor. Sweet, sweet side armor. Nailing his crew. no. Driver and machine gunner still up, but the rest of his crew, there he goes. He finally burns out. Nice kill there. I think that was my first kill of the whole match, but there is still an enemy down there. We need to make sure C does not fall into enemy hands, and it looks like that's happening. And with nobody left on this flank to do the job, it looks like it's up to us. So as I surf down the hill here, I just have one last little historical fact for you. Let's see, the Su-76 was, after its distinction used in the war, it was used by North Korea during the Korean War. Several of them were actually captured by South Korea, and this tank saw action all through the 1950s. Alright guys, well I think that'll just about do it for this week's episode of Weekly War Thunder. I'd like to thank you for taking time to watch the video, even if you only watched it for just a few minutes. Please give it a like down below if you liked it, comment if you got a comment or question for me, and as always, I will see you in the next video guys. Take care.